to my channel. My name is Juliet. Today's video will be talking about my trip to Paris. I made a trip to Paris 2 weeks ago now, and I posted all about it on my Instagram stories. If you don't follow me on Instagram, the name is The Sassy Mom, and I decided to create a video just talking about the trip and different tips based on the questions and based on the poll I created, whether people would like me to do a YouTube video on that. So this video is all about that. Now let me start. The first thing is, it was a day trip, so I took a flight from Manchester to Paris Charles de Gaulle, a 6 a.m. flight. Got to Paris Charles de Gaulle. The airport the immigration area was quite busy. It took me about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, to make it out of security from the time the plane landed to actually leaving the airport. So that is one thing to bear in mind. It was busy that particular day. It was on a Saturday. Then the second thing, so I went with a friend, so we left the airport, and then because it was a day trip, so we're working with time, we needed to kind of get as much things as we wanted to get done. And first of all, we didn't have an itinerary of such. It wasn't a typical tourist trip, so we weren't there to see the Eiffel Tower or any of those tourist attractions per se. We were just there to kind of have fun, go to, where is this place, the shopping, what's the name of that street again, Avenue Montaigne, yeah. So anyway, we got out from the airport. Then we took a taxi from the airport. There's a taxi rank, because one of the questions I was asked was, how did I get a taxi? They have a taxi rank at the airport once you leave the Charles de Gaulle. And as you're leaving, there are people standing around saying, oh, do you want a taxi? Do you want a taxi? I'll personally advise, don't go for those people. Go for the official taxi rank. There is a queue and there is somebody kind of ushering people into the next available taxi. So we did that. Went into the taxi, and the taxi drove us all the way to Avenue Montaigne. We arrived at Avenue Montaigne around 10:30 in the morning. So when we arrived, the whole place was quiet. That was one of the things one of the, call it a culture shock, I would say, I noticed. This wasn't my first trip to Paris, but it was my first time going there, like on a Saturday, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, got to Avenue Montaigne. Everywhere was quiet. Some stores haven't even opened. For example, I know, is it Versace or Roberto Cavalli, one of those stores wasn't open, and I'm like, this place is very quiet for a Saturday morning. Most places will be bubbling and busy, especially for a busy city. Anyway, that was one observation. We got there, and the cost of the taxi from Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, which is one of the things people wanted to know, the cost. The cost of the price from Paris Charles de Gaulle to Avenue Montaigne, it was an hour trip, and the taxi price was 54 euros. Yeah, 54 or 6, is it 50? Yeah, 54, sorry, 54 euros. Yes, it was 54 euros from Paris Charles de Gaulle to Avenue Montaigne, which is an hour drive. And Avenue Montaigne is just adjacent to Champs-Elysees, so that's the main city center, really. Okay, then we got down from the taxi, then we walked right into the Dior boutique on Avenue Montaigne. I haven't been there before. It was my friend's idea. She wanted to go there, and we walked into the store. Apparently the store was featured in a movie. I don't know the movie, but it was. Anyway, walked into the store. Oh my god, it was the most beautiful, luxurious store I've been into. It's so wonderful. I definitely want to go back there again. I know I will. I don't know when, but I know I will go back there again. The whole place, as I walked in, it was like, wow. And the funny things are, from outside, it just looks like any other store, any other luxury store. Then you walk into it, I was blown away. And I have been into different luxury stores, so it's not like it's my first time being in a luxury store. But it was just wow. And the staff, from the entrance to every single staff there, they made you feel like royalty. They made you feel like one important personality. Yes, every human being is important, I know that. However, you know, some of these things you hear, maybe some stores you go into, and maybe they make you feel like, are you going to buy something, or maybe they're sizing you up to see whether they'll give you a good treatment or not. There was nothing like that there. You just walk in, it's almost, you're a valued customer from the moment you step your foot in the door, and everything else. In fact, the way they treat you make you want to buy something. So that was it. So we walked around the store, we went all the way, like almost every floor. We didn't go to every single floor, but I wanted to went to the beauty department. We saw the handbags. I went to the homeware department because I wanted to look at some of the place they had, because recently I've been into kind of everyday luxury and wanting to get those kind of things. So we went there, we looked around. The staff took time to explain to me everything about the design, the history, and I love knowing about those things. I love getting to understand the history of something. It makes me either appreciate the thing very well or not. So anyway, so we finished from there, we made a few purchases, and then the staff invited us. There's a museum, the Dior Museum next door, which I didn't know about. So they invited us to come to the Dior Museum, and that's another question I got as well on my stories when I shared it on Instagram and on Facebook. I don't have Facebook anymore at the moment, unfortunately, but I shared it on both platforms at the time. And one of the questions I got was, how much was it to go to the Christian Dior Museum? Okay, we went into the Christian Dior Museum. We didn't have to pay anything, and I think it's because we made purchase in the Dior boutique, and they just saw us through. It was like VIP guests. The staff just took us right through the queue. We went through the queue and we got in, which was quite good. It's like, oh yeah. So there was no fee for us. However, if you are not making a payment, there's a price, and it's 14 euros. Wait, let me see. It's 14 euros. Full price is 14 euros and reduced rate is 10 euros. And I'm assuming that reduced rate might be maybe for students, children, maybe the elderly, something of that nature. That's my guess for reduced rate. But the full price is 14 euros to access the museum. And there's a queue, like there's a lot of people were waiting. There was a queue really. And it's a lovely museum. So we got into the museum. Wow, that was like, I love my history. I really do love history. So I looked around, we took our time walking around, reading all the history, everything about the man Christian Dior, from his family, from his childhood to how many sisters. It was just like any museum with the dresses, everything all displayed beautifully. And while we were there, I got a call. This is just a special memory for me, so I'm documenting that for my own memory, I guess. So while we were there, I got a message actually from my Christian Louboutin sales associate telling me, oh Juliet, could you call me right now? I've got an exciting news for you. And I remember showing it to my friend, and I said to her, look, this I just got a message from my Louboutin SA. She's telling me about an exciting news. And we just laughed at it and said, oh Juliet, I bet you this exciting news is going to cost you money, probably to tell you about a new release or something like that. Anyway, I replied to the message and I told her, oh, that I'm currently in Paris at the moment, and please can I call her back tomorrow, or could she text me what the exciting news is, or was, like in past tense. Anyway, then she texted me and said, oh, you've been invited to meet Christian Louboutin himself, and the details in the message. Oh my god, I literally could not scream because I was inside the museum, everything is quiet and all that. I literally couldn't scream. I was like, oh my god. And I'm a strong Louboutin fan. I love Christian Louboutin. He's my favorite brand. I mean, everything about that brand, just, oh, I love the brand, everything about it. So anyway, so it was such a, like, to me, I would always remember that trip with that, because it felt so significant. I was in a Christian Dior museum, and then I get invited, and this is one of my dreams. You know, one of this wildest dreams come true. It was been my dream, like last year, 2024. I wrote it down on my the things I would love to kind of have happen, go like wish list of the year. And I remember I wrote about 9 things on my wish list for 2024, and then the last one, no, the number 8 one was meeting Mr. Christian Louboutin. And I just wrote it, and I remember telling myself then, I said to myself, oh, let me just throw something fun in here, let me just try God, let me just try the universe. I didn't mean anything by it. So of course 2024 finished. This is all part of my Parisian trip story, so yes, just hear it out. So the 2024 finished, of course, and it didn't happen. So in 2025, I was writing another wish list again for 2025. I didn't write it down this time around, but it was still something that I was wishing for. It's like one of those in your wildest dreams. And I said to myself, maybe one day when I'm in Paris, I might meet him, maybe bump into him on the streets of Paris, or maybe I'm in, say, for example, one of the lovely restaurants like in the Peninsula or on the Plaza Athénée, one of these posh, nice restaurants that I might bump into him there. Not knowing, like, honestly, it's whenever I remember it, it's just like, God. Anyway, so the significance of that. So I finished, me and my friend were like, oh my God, Juliet, I'm so happy for you. Oh my God. It was such a remarkable moment. Like everything, the way it just tallied, it's like, to me, it's just, I don't know, it's perfect. It's one of those things that the perfect timing. I'm in Paris, like the home of Christians, kind of like the home country in Christian Dior. Then I get invited. It's just, it couldn't be more perfect, really. Just put it that way. Anyway, after we've spent our few minutes of oh my god, we carried on, walked around the whole boutique. It's the whole the whole museum, and the whole museum is really beautiful, nicely decorated. There's a cafe in the museum as well, so if you want to sit down and end up having a cup of tea, coffee, whatever, and snacks, they have it in there. So everything about the museum was beautiful. Probably spent between the boutique and the museum, probably spent 2 hours easily, because we weren't watching our time. It was chilled. 2 hours easily, or even more. So when we finished from the museum, then we came out and we decided to go. It was around 12 at this point, 12:15. So we booked lunch for 12:15, and we went for lunch in the Relais Plaza. Basically, it's a restaurant owned by Plaza Athénée, the hotel Plaza Athénée. So the restaurant attached to that place, the Relais Plaza. Anyway, so we basically had to just cross the road and walk down the end of the street. So it wasn't far, perfect location. We got there for 12:15. We sat down. Another beautiful. It was just a day of luxury feeling and just having a nice time in Paris. So we sat there. We had our lunch. We took time. Just no pressure. Relaxed. The lunch. Funny enough, the lunch there, the meals were quite good size. Like I was expecting, sometimes when you go to all these fancy places, the portion sizes are like that. So I was expecting tiny portions, but the portion sizes were quite good for what it is. It met my expectation, or it exceeded my expectation rather, and it was tasty as well. I had the best mocktail. The mocktail I had there is the best mocktail I have had in all my life of having mocktails in restaurants. That is the best mocktail. Honestly, I can't remember the name of it, but it's something kindness. So I know I chose it because of the name. Kindness, something kindness. So if you happen to be there and see kindness on the mocktail menu, go for it. It is the best mocktail. Anyway, so we finished there, the food was nice, nicely priced as well. I mean, it depends on what you mean by nicely priced, but for what it is, can't complain. So, and while I was there, I loved the plates that they used to serve us. So because I've just come from Dior, looking at their homeware, the dinner plates and all that. So seeing this plate there, it was quite nice. And me and my friend were like, this looks like the Dior plates. Let's see. So I turned the back of it, and it was from Bernard, one French brand for homewares. So I noted it down, which I told myself, you know what, I'm going to buy a few of their plates for my house because I actually love the plates. It's just something I do. Anyway, so that is, by the way, so we finished from the restaurant and then we went. So another question I got was, did we have to make a booking or did we just walk in? I made a booking because it's a place I've been wanting to go for a long time. I wanted to go to the restaurant of either Plaza Athénée or the Peninsula Hotel, one of these two places. So I went on a random day before I even decided I was going to go to Paris, before it was even in my head. I just went on their website, made a booking, probably a month or so prior to the actual thinking, oh, okay, should I go? Because to me, making a reservation for restaurants is easy. You make a reservation, even if they take your credit card or not, it's just there. You can always change it. I have done this before where I made a reservation for a restaurant a year in advance, and I kept on each time the time came around for me to use it. Maybe I wasn't able, I rebook it or reschedule it. Kept on doing this for a whole year, and I still ended up going to that restaurant. So that's just something I do. If there's a place that I really want to go and it's a place that gets booked out, that might get booked out, I can book a nice restaurant that I want to go now and end up going there next year. Anyway, so to answer that question, yes, it was pre-booked well in advance, at least probably a month or two in advance before I even thought about it. Anyway, so what else? The next thing, okay, we finished from there, then we walked from the Avenue Montang, then we walked to, where did we walk to again? We walked to Champs-Elysees now. So the Champs-Elysees, the main street where they have the Arc de Triomphe and all that. So we walked to the Champs-Elysees, and my friend had shopping to do in March. So we went into March. And another thing as well, when it comes to the shopping, not talking about shopping, when it comes to the shopping, you get 20% off tax back from every as a British citizen. This does not apply to me. So my friend is a British citizen, so she was able to get 20% tax back on every purchase she made. So what I did as her friend was, I'm not a British citizen, so what I did was to make whatever purchase I made under, like the one in Dior, I made it under her name, so I was able to get the tax back, and then I refunded her. It was, yeah. So that's a nice tip right there. So if you're traveling with somebody that is a British, because I couldn't get the tax back because I'm a European citizen, so it's like I couldn't get the tax back. It didn't apply to European citizens, but because Britain is no longer part of the EU, you can get 20% off from whatever you purchase in any of the stores in Paris. So that's one tip right there. And okay, we finished from Champs-Elysees. We walked around different stores, and just at this point around, we're just going through the stores really. Then we finished from there. Then I wanted to go to the Printemps. That's the shopping center, Printemps. I'm sure I'm not calling it correctly, but that's the name of this place. So there's a perfume I was looking for. So we went to the place, and oh my god, amazing, like amazing. The place was quite busy, honestly. That was the busiest department store or store we walked into. So they had a whole area of perfumes. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to go there. They have a whole floor dedicated to perfumes. Like, I don't think there's any perfume in this world that doesn't exist in that place. I don't think so. Any perfume, fragrance brand that doesn't exist in that store. Amazing. I was like, wow. Like, you will literally, I feel like if you don't know what you want in terms of fragrance and go in there, you will come out confused and probably end up buying the wrong thing. So you need to know what you're looking for, the scent you're looking for, the fragrance you're looking for. Because of course you're just overwhelmed by different scents, different brands, different everything. Like, oh, anybody that loves fragrances, that is just your fragrance heaven. Just go there and sleep. Anyway, we finished from there, and then what else did we do? I think it was now time to start heading towards, okay, I wanted to go to Arc de Triomphe. No, sorry, I wanted to go to, what's the name of this cathedral? Notre-Dame. So I wanted to go and see the Notre-Dame Cathedral because I discovered about it when it was burnt down 5 years ago. So I wanted to go and see it now that it's all been rebuilt. So we took another taxi. That's another thing. We took taxis the whole time, and taxi is not the only way to get around Paris. So most of our movements from, for example, from Champs-Elysees to the Le Breton, which is on Haussmann Boulevard, it was a 10 minutes drive, 15 minutes drive. We took a taxi. We used taxis to, and the taxi from there, from Champs-Elysees to, basically every 10 to 15 minute drive is about 10 euros. That's the basic thing. That's the way to put it. So every taxi that we took in Paris, that the drive was about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, cost us 10 euros. Anything longer than that, then of course cost more. So that's the way to put it. Then we finished. Then we took another taxi from Haussmann Boulevard, that's where the Printemps shopping center is, to Notre-Dame Cathedral. So Notre-Dame Cathedral, Notre-Dame Cathedral, that was another 15 minutes drive, which also cost about 10 euros or 12 euros at this time. So around that price point. So we got there. By the time we got there, this was, at this point now, it was almost close to 6 p.m. So we didn't get a chance to go into the cathedral, because The queue was literally endless. I didn't see where the queue ended. It was an endless queue. And we're also working with time at this point because we needed to give ourselves an hour to get back to the airport, plus the whole timing of being at the airport, how many minutes before your departure and all that. So we didn't have enough time at the Notre-Dame Cathedral. But I was happy to have seen it because I wanted to see the cathedral. I wanted to see where it's located. So next time, my goal will be to actually get into the cathedral. But the queue was endless. Literally, we walked, I couldn't see where it ended. Anyway, so we finished from the cathedral, just looked around, took a few pictures. I was able to, I love that I saw that. And then it was time for us to start going to the airport. So we took another taxi. And then another question I got is, how do you get the taxis? Were we getting taxis or Ubers? Is it pre-booked? No, there was no pre-booking. It was taxis. You just flagged down a taxi, which is something I appreciated about Paris. There wasn't like pre-booking a taxi. You literally just flag down. Most of anyone that has a green light on the top of it meant it was available. Red meant it wasn't available. So, and it wasn't hard to find. So literally just flag one down. And sometimes they even see you. They see you that you're looking for a taxi and they pull up as well. So either way, so there's no pre-booking required. And most of them take card payments as well. We didn't have to be faffing around for cash. So that was also good. Another point to note as well. And we took a taxi back to the airport. At this time it was around probably half 6 p.m. I think. So we got to the airport. So the taxi now from the Notre-Dame Cathedral to the airport, it was already nighttime at this point. So I don't know whether it had anything to do with nighttime or was it a longer drive, because our coming into Paris from airport to the city center Paris was 54 euro. Going back was 65 euros. So it could be a thing of maybe time, or maybe it was a longer distance from where we took the taxis. I don't know, but that's something else to kind of note. Of course, there are other ways to get to the airport. There's the train, and yeah, I don't know about metro, but they have a train. However, we were working with time because this was a day trip, so we needed to maximize our time and use up every little time we've got as best as we can to put as much memories as we can into it. Anyway, and also the taxi was also comfort as well. I won't lie. There's something about not having to think of, oh, when is the next train coming up, when is the next bus. There's something about not having to think about that was actually cool. And also just chilling at the back of a taxi, that comfort. Sometimes as I grow, sometimes you get to a point whereby you don't mind paying extra just for the comfort of certain things. So yes, that is also a factor. And yeah, so we got to the airport, and I bought myself my daughter wanted some laduri macarons. My experience was lovely. Like, in a nutshell, it was really nice. The staff, everybody we met was friendly. Even in the restaurant, there's a family that was having a birthday dinner, and it was my first time hearing them sing in happy birthday in French, and it sounded interesting. And the mom of the girl was very nice to us, explaining the dishes we had, the history of it, and they were very, like, telling us about what we were eating and the person that made the food and all that stuff. Anyway, it was a lovely day in Paris from start to finish. I can't complain. I loved it. And if you haven't been to Paris, put it in your list and go. Even if you have, I'm sure you should. We can go to. Is a country, is a place, is a city. I can go every month if I can. I can. I love the city so much. I don't even know one particular thing, but I just love the place. Yeah, I do. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and if there's any question that you want me to answer I didn't answer in the video, please leave it in the comment section and I will respond to you. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. And